There is absolutely no love like the love of a mother and father for their children. That statement is a witness. It is a testimony on my part, because I know that statement is not true for everyone. Let me tell you a little bit more about my witness, my testimony about the love of a mother and father. My mom and dad, just ordinary folks, like your mother and father, or those that raised you. They had their strengths. They had their shortcomings. As I said on Ash Wednesday, there were times when I wished I had other parents, certainly as a teenager or in my young adult years. My parents made mistakes. They weren't perfect parents. They weren't perfect people. But there was something that they got so absolutely right, both of them. They knew about how to love their children. I've been thinking about that a lot recently as I've lost my mom. In her final days, she couldn't talk, or she didn't talk. But the last time I spoke to her, it was a situation that was very similar throughout my life. At the end of that conversation, she asked me about 3 different things. Usually I would see her on Friday, on my day off. So she'd say, "Tell me about church on Sunday. What's going on?" My mom always wanted to know what was going on with my life as a pastor. She knew how important that was to me. And then the other 2 things that she left me with: I love you, take care, and always be careful. Perhaps those are the same kind of things that your mother, or maybe even your father, offered to you. It wasn't unique that my mom offered that. She offered that to all her children, all of her grandchildren. Because a mother's love, a father's love, sees the unique gifts that their child has and wants to encourage them and celebrate them and shape and mold them again and again, even when their children grow up and live their own lives. A mother's love wants their child to know that they are cared for, that they are loved. And a mother or father's love wants their child to be safe and protected. Our Father in heaven, our heavenly parent, loves us in that same way. If we have not gotten that experience from our earthly parents, or the guardians, the foster parents that we've been given, the adopted parents that we have been given in life, that kind of love is who our God is, in a totally perfect way. God, our heavenly parent, sees each of us as precious. We're all unique, thank goodness. We're all diamonds in the rough, pure potential. As I said last week, our Father in heaven, our heavenly parent, wants his love to go with us into life, so that the experiences, the people, the things that happen in our lives shape our lives in a way that brings us to the fullness of who we are to be in Him. As I said last week as well, our Father in heaven even wants to use the stress-filled situations, the ugliness of our lives, to do something good, something amazing. God takes those stressful situations, and as we give space for it, as we open our hearts in faith to Him, He can get rid of the useless parts in our lives through the stress that we have. We can remember what's important. He can polish us up so that we more show faith in Him and reflect Him to the world. He can strengthen us like the strongest diamond in those times. This week, our gospel builds right on this because we hear how far this love of our heavenly parent will go. The best human parents reflect this kind of love too. It's not an easy kind of love. But this gospel for today reflects the kind of love that is relentless. A love that loves the child even if they reject Him. Our gospel for today is a big jump from last Sunday's gospel. Last week we were out in the wilderness with Jesus at His temptation when He was under stress, the beginning of His ministry. Today's gospel jumps way to almost the end of His ministry. He's headed to Jerusalem. He's got His sights set on what He is to be about as the Son of God. And so today, we see there is opposition to Jesus. Herod. But we also recognize so many others, the Pharisees, that point out to Jesus that Herod's around the corner ready to get you. Well, guess what else? The Pharisees and the religious leaders are as well, and others who don't like what Jesus is doing. And at that moment, Jesus' response to that is, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that stones the prophets and kills those who come to it. How I've wanted to draw you to myself, as a mother hen draws her children, and you wouldn't have it. But look, I'm gonna go and die for you anyway, because you're not gonna see me until I come into town on a donkey, ready to go to the cross for you. Here is the love of God for us, a love that seeks our good, even when we reject that love. Here is the love that Jesus has for those who have taunted Him, who've complained about Him practicing on the Sabbath healings and teaching and freeing people of their bonds. Jesus is going to die for these people. He's going to go and die for the very people who will be determined to see that He is crucified. And today, this is the same message for us. Our God goes all the way. You and I, who so often walk around in life, I know I'm guilty of it, and make light of God's love, We make light of God's love and act as if our own brilliant plans for our lives are so much better, or that, who cares if we incorporate God into our life? I have these great designs of how I will make my mark out in the world. I don't need to consult God, who made me. I'm doing my own thing. Our God is still sending his Son to the cross for people like you and me. You and me who are the prodigals, the prodigal sons and daughters who keep coming up with some foreign land that we should go to fulfill all our dreams. For you and me who are like the lost sheep who get interested and not listening to the voice of our shepherd, but going out and trying some other path along the way. You and me who are like the lost coin, get misplaced in life. Our God in heaven is relentless in love. Today, if we take the mother hen image to the nth degree, we can begin to catch a glimpse of this bird's eye view of God's heart. Our God sees us as precious, sees all our potential, wants to bless us again and again, gather us under his wings. He wants to nudge us into the way of life that will bring brilliance and beauty to us and to all the world, goodness. But he's also willing to give his all, his self, so that we might find that life. This is what this gospel is about. All those stars up in the heavens that Abraham talks about, looking brilliant in the night sky, those chosen ones of God, those are us. Those are the ones that we are called to be. That is what God has in mind for us, that in the darkness of the world that we are in, light has come. It's come in God's Son. That Son of God now lives in our lives by the Holy Spirit and by faith. And as we receive that gift of that love of God, we can be that light that draws others to the relentless, unending love of God. What do we do? What are we to do with such love? Sometimes I'm overwhelmed by how much my parents loved and looked after me, even when I didn't even know they were doing that. What are we to do with such love that is willing to seek our good at all cost? What are we to do with such a love that is willing to die for us? How can we respond to that? Words can never be enough. That's why, as followers of Christ, as those who can witness to the love of God in Christ, we are called to make our business. We are called to make our business of life to be loving God, not with just our words, but with all that we have and all that we are to the best of our ability, so that written over our life isn't just from God, "You are forever mine," but that our life back to God is saying, "I am forever yours." This is the call that we have as children of God, to be who we are truly meant to be in God. In doing that, we will be blessed in love, and we will share the love that God has given to us. Amen.